The stars looked peaceful from the bridge of the rescue ship Swiftlight. Commander Veltar adjusted his forearms as he studied the display screen. His blue skin glowed softly in the dim light. 3 days ago, they lost contact with the survey ship Harmony's Edge. Now they were close to finding it. Commander called his communications officer. "We are picking up signals from the missing ship." Veltar moved closer to the control station. Put it on speakers. The bridge filled with crackling static. Then came the sounds that made everyone freeze. Deep, terrible roars echoed through the speakers. Screams of rage and hunger, the sounds of something wild and deadly. "By the stars," whispered the navigation officer. "What is that?" Veltar's ears flattened against his head. In all his years of space travel, he had never heard anything so frightening. The roars were not random. They had a pattern. "It's like a pack of hunters calling to each other. Are those our people?" asked the communications officer. No, Veltar said, quietly. "Those are the sounds of whatever killed our people." The roars grew louder. More voices joined in. The sounds were getting closer to the microphone. Whatever was on that ship was moving through the halls. "Hunting. Can you clean up the audio?" Veltar asked. The communications officer worked at his station. The static cleared a little. Now they could hear other sounds. Heavy footsteps, metal clanging, and underneath it all, those terrible roars. "It sounds like they are calling to each other," the officer said. "Like they are working together." Veltar felt cold fear in his stomach. Most dangerous animals hunted alone. But these sounds suggested something worse. A group of intelligent predators. They were talking to each other as they hunted. "Get me a connection to the fleet," Veltar ordered. While he waited, more sounds came through the speakers. A new voice joined the roars. This one was different, higher pitched, but just as fierce. It sounded like a smaller predator, but no less dangerous. "Fleet Command, this is Commander Veltar," he said when the connection opened. "We have a situation. The survey ship has been taken by unknown hostiles. They appear to be creatures. Of some kind?" "Creatures?" asked Admiral Kethva. "What do you mean? Listen to this," Veltar said. They played the recorded audio. The sounds filled the communication channel. Even through the static, the roars were clear, wild and hungry. The Admiral was quiet for a long moment. "How many of them?" the Admiral asked. "Hard to tell. At least 6 or 7 different voices, maybe more." "Any survivors from our crew?" Veltar listened to the current audio feed. The roars were getting quieter now, moving away from the microphone. "Unknown. We cannot tell if anyone is still alive. We are sending more ships," the Admiral said. "Do not approach the survey ship. Stay back and watch." "Understood." Veltar closed the connection. He stared at the screen showing the location of the missing ship. What kind of creatures had they found? And how had they gotten aboard a Confederation vessel? His thoughts were interrupted by new sounds from the speakers. The roars were back, but different now. They sounded ... pleased, like predators who had finished a successful hunt. "Commander," said the sensor operator, "I am picking up another ship. It is approaching the survey vessel." Veltar looked at the sensor display. A new ship was moving toward Harmony's Edge. It was smaller than their rescue ship. The design was unknown. "Is it one of ours?" "No, sir. The shape is wrong, and it is not sending any identification signals." Veltar watched the strange ship get closer to the survey vessel. Maybe these newcomers did not know about the dangerous creatures on board. He opened a communication channel. "Unknown vessel. This is Commander Veltar of the Confederation Rescue Fleet. Do not approach the survey ship. It has been taken by hostile creatures. They are extremely dangerous." No response came back. The unknown ship continued toward Harmony's Edge. "Unknown vessel, please respond. You are in great danger." Still nothing. The ship was almost touching the survey vessel now. Sir called the sensor operator. "The unknown ship is connecting to the survey vessel. They are boarding." Veltar felt sick. More innocent beings were about to become prey for whatever monsters had taken the first ship. He watched helplessly as the boarding connection formed. Minutes passed. Then the audio feed came alive again. New roars filled the speakers. But these were different, sharper, more organized. The original creatures were responding to the new arrivals. "They're fighting," the communications officer said. "The new arrivals are fighting the creatures." But as they listened, something strange happened. The new roars mixed with the old ones. Instead of sounds of battle, they heard sounds of cooperation. The creatures were working together. "No," Veltar whispered. "The newcomers are not fighting them. They are joining them." The roars got louder and more organized. Now there were many. More voices. The original pack of predators had found allies. "Get me the Admiral," Veltar said quickly. When the connection opened, he spoke fast. "Admiral, we have a problem. Another ship arrived. Instead of rescuing anyone, they have joined the creatures. The pack is getting bigger." "What do you mean, joined them?" "Listen." Veltar played the current audio. The roars were loud and coordinated, many voices calling back and forth. "By the ancient stars," the Admiral breathed. "What are we dealing with, I think?" Veltar said slowly. "We are dealing with an intelligent species of predators. They hunt in groups, they use tools, they have spaceships, and they are spreading." The audio feed crackled with new sounds. It's not just roars now, but what sounded like machinery working. The creatures were doing something to the survey ship. "Are they eating the ship?" asked the communications officer. "No," Veltar said. "Are fixing it. They want to use it." This was worse than just wild animals. These were intelligent hunters who could use technology. They'd taken one ship and were preparing to take more. Admiral Veltar said into the communicator, "We need the full fleet. These creatures are not just dangerous. They are smart. They are getting ready to hunt again." The roars from the speakers seemed to agree with him. They sounded pleased, like predators who had found a rich hunting ground. Veltar looked at the stars and wondered. If they were about to face something the galaxy had never seen before, an intelligent species that lived to hunt others. The sounds from the speakers grew. Louder, more organized, more ready. The hunt was just beginning. Admiral HFY arrived with 12 warships. The fleet formed a wide circle around the two connected vessels. On the bridge of his flagship, the Admiral studied the sensor readings with growing concern. "How long have they been connected?" asked. "For hours," Commander Veltar replied through the communication system. "The sounds have gotten worse. More organized. They are definitely working together now." The Admiral listened to the audio feed. The roars were constant now, different voices calling back and forth. It sounded like a large pack of predators coordinating. "Their actions? Any signs of survivors from our crew?" "Unknown. Creatures might be keeping some alive. We heard different sounds earlier. Weaker voices. They might be prisoners." The Admiral made his decision. "Open a channel to the unknown vessel. We'll try to communicate with these creatures." The communications officer worked at his station. "Channel open, Admiral?" Admiral HFY took a deep breath. "Unknown creatures? This is Admiral HFY of the Confederation Fleet. We know you have taken our people. We demand their immediate release." For a moment, there was silence. Then a new voice came through the speakers. This one was different. From the roars, it was calmer, more controlled. But there was something strange about it. "This is Captain Suyang Nam of the research vessel New Soul. We are conducting a rescue operation. We have found survivors from your ship. They need medical attention." The Admiral's 4 eyes widened. The creature could speak. And it was using their language, though the sounds were wrong somehow. The words were clear, but the voice carried undertones that made his skin crawl. "You speak our language," the Admiral said carefully. "How we have translation systems. We detected your people's distress signals. We came to help. Help." The Admiral looked at his officers. "What kind of help involves those sounds we have been hearing?" There was a pause, then the voice called. Captain Nam spoke again. "What sounds do you mean?" "The roars. The hunting calls. The sounds of your pack working together." Another pause. Longer this time. "Oh." In the background, they could hear more of the roaring voices. The creatures were talking. To each other. "I think there is some misunderstanding," Captain Nam said finally. "We are not a pack. We are a rescue team. The sounds you hear are our people coordinating the rescue operation." Coordinating? The Admiral felt confused. Those are not coordination sounds. Those are the sounds of predators hunting. The background roars got louder, more urgent. The Admiral heard heavy footsteps and metal clanging. Something was happening on the ships. "Captain Nam," the Admiral said quickly, "are you holding our people prisoner? We are treating their injuries. Several of your crew were trapped when their ship was damaged. We are helping them. Then why do we hear the sounds of your pack hunting?" Pack. The voice sounded genuinely confused. "We are humans. We work as a team, but we are not a pack of animals." The Admiral exchanged looks with his officers. The creature called itself human. But the sounds they were hearing were definitely not civilized. They were wild and fierce. "Prove it," the Admiral said. "Show us your prisoners are safe." "They are not prisoners. They're patients. But I will have one of them speak to you." The channel crackled with static. Then a weak voice came through. It was one of their own crew members. "Engineer Guangjun Seo." "Admiral," the voice said. "Is that you? Seo? Are you all right? Are you hurt?" "I was trapped in the engine room. These ... humans ... they saved me. One of them pulled me out from under heavy machinery. She was very strong." "Did they hurt you?" "No, Admiral. They gave me medicine. They are treating my injuries." The Admiral felt confused. If these humans were helping, why did they sound so dangerous? "CO," the Admiral said. "Describe what you saw." "They worked very loudly, Admiral. They shouted at each other constantly. But they are not fighting. They are ... organizing. When they found me, one of them called very loudly to the others, and they all came running. They worked together to free me." The Admiral looked at his communications officer. "Play back the audio from when they found SEO." The recording played. They heard a human voice calling out. It was loud and sharp. Then other voices answered, all very loud, very intense. To the Admiral's ears, it sounded like a predator calling its pack to a kill. "You see?" the Admiral said. To Captain Nam, "Those are hunting calls." "No," Captain Nam replied. "Those are emergency calls. My people were calling for help to rescue your crew member." The Admiral did not understand. Why would anyone need to make such fierce sounds just to call for help? It made no sense. "Captain Nam," the Admiral said, "we are going to bring you aboard our ship. We need to see these humans for ourselves. I cannot leave my ship. My people are still working to save your crew. Then we will come aboard your ship." "Is not safe. We are still dealing with emergency repairs." The Admiral was getting frustrated. The creature was avoiding a direct meeting. That was suspicious. He listened to the background sounds again. The roars were still there, still coordinated, still dangerous. "Captain Name," the Admiral said firmly, "you will allow us to board your ship. We will consider this a hostile situation." The channel went quiet. Then the roars got louder. Much louder. The humans were clearly agitated about something. "Admiral," Captain Nam said, "my people are telling me you are powering weapons. Is this true?" The Admiral looked at his tactical officer, who nodded. "We have weapons ready as a precaution, and we have a problem. My people see armed ships surrounding us. They think we are under attack. We are not attacking. We are investigating. But your weapons are powered. My people are trained to respond to threats." The background roars were getting very loud now. The humans were clearly preparing for something. The Admiral could hear new sounds. Heavy objects being moved, metal scraping against metal. "What are your people doing?" the Admiral asked. "They are preparing defensive positions. They think you are going to attack. We're not going to attack if you cooperate. But you have weapons pointed at us. My people cannot ignore that." The Admiral realized they had a serious problem. The humans were preparing for battle. If they were as dangerous as they sounded, this could become very bad very quickly. "Captain Name," the Admiral said, "tell your people to stand down. We do not want to fight. I am trying. But they are trained soldiers. They will not back down from a threat." The roars were getting organized now. Different voices calling back and forth in a pattern. The Admiral recognized it as tactical coordination. These humans were not just fierce. They were smart. and they were preparing for war. All ships, the admiral broadcast to his fleet. Battle stations. The creatures are preparing to attack. Humans' roars got even louder. You could hear the sounds of their pack getting ready to hunt. First contact was about to become first battle. The first shot came by accident. A nervous gunner on Admiral Kethva's flagship saw movement on the human ship and fired a warning blast. The energy beam struck the side of the new Soul, causing sparks to fly from the hole inside the human ship. Alarms started blaring. Captain Suyang Nam felt the ship shake from the hit. "Report," she shouted. "Minor damage to the outer hull," called Chief Engineer Kung Su Lim from the engine room, "but we lost some power to the navigation system." "They attacking us?" asked Lieutenant Temin Park, who was still aboard the alien survey ship with his rescue team. "I don't know," Captain Name replied. "It might have been an accident, but the damage was done." The human crew heard the alarms and felt the impact. Their training kicked in automatically. "Battle stations," Captain Nam ordered. "This is not a drill." The ship filled with the sounds of humans preparing for combat. Crew members ran to their positions. Equipment was moved into defensive positions. And everywhere, voices called out orders and status reports. To the aliens listening on their ships, it sounded like a pack of predators getting ready to attack. "They are preparing to hunt," Commander Veltar said to Admiral Kethva. "The sounds are getting more organized." The Admiral listened to the audio feed. The human voices were sharp and urgent, were calling to each other in short, loud bursts. It sounded like a hunting pack, coordinating an assault. "All ships prepare for battle," the Admiral ordered. On the human ship, Chief Engineer Lim was working frantically to fix the damage. The power systems were unstable. If they lost main power, they would be helpless. "I need more help down here," he shouted into his communicator. His voice was deep and powerful. The engineering deck amplified his calls, sending them through the ship's speakers. The aliens heard his voice and froze in terror. "By the stars," whispered the Admiral. "What kind of creature has such a voice?" Lim's voice was not just loud, it was commanding, authoritative. It sounded like the call of a pack leader preparing. "His hunters for a kill? More power to the engines?" Lim roared. "We need to get moving." The aliens heard this and panicked. The creatures were preparing to chase them. The hunt was about to begin. "Fire warning shots around their ship," the Admiral ordered. "Maybe we can scare them away." The alien fleet opened fire. Energy beams shot past the new Soul, lighting up space around the human ship. The display was meant to frighten the humans into retreating. Instead, it made things worse. "They are shooting at us," Captain Nam called out. "Evasive maneuvers." The human ship tried to move, but the damaged navigation system made it clumsy. The ship shook as it changed direction. Inside the alien survey ship, Lieutenant Park and his rescue team felt the movement. They were still working to save the remaining alien survivors. "What's happening out there?" called Corporal Gina Kim. "We're under attack," Park replied. "Keep working. We need to get these people to safety." But the situation was getting dangerous. The rescue team was trapped inside the alien ship while their own ship was being shot at. They had to make a choice. "We need to get back to our ship," Private Minho Lee said. "Not without the survivors." Park replied firmly. "We don't leave anyone behind." The rescue team kept working, but they had to work faster now. They moved through the alien ship, carrying the wounded survivors toward the connection point. As they moved, they called out to each other. Status reports, location updates, encouragement. "Found 2 more survivors in Section C," called Private. "Yunishin, bring them to the medical bay," Park replied. "This one is badly hurt," called Sergeant Jiho Choi. "Need to move fast." The aliens listening to the audio feed heard all of this, but they could not understand the words. They only heard the urgent, aggressive sounds of predators calling to each other. "They are moving their prey," Commander Veltar said. "They are. Taking our people somewhere." The Admiral felt sick. The creatures were not just killing their crew. They were taking them alive. For what purpose? He did not want to imagine. "Increase firepower," the Admiral ordered. "Try to disable their ship." More energy beams struck the new Soul. The ship shuddered under the impact. Systems began failing throughout the ship. "We're losing life support on Deck 3, called Engineering Officer Young Ho Kim. Reroute power from non-essential systems." Captain Nam ordered. The human voices got louder and more urgent as the crisis deepened. They were fighting to keep their ship alive and their people safe. But to the aliens, it sounded like the creatures were getting more excited, more dangerous. The hunt was reaching its peak. Then something happened that confused the aliens completely. Private Yoonji Park was helping to carry wounded alien survivor Corporal Sungmin KO through the corridor when a piece of ceiling collapsed. Without thinking, she threw herself over the alien. Shielding him from the falling debris, she screamed as the metal struck her back. It was a sound of pain and effort, but also of determination. She would not let the alien be hurt. The aliens heard her scream through their survivor's communicator. Then, it sounded like a predator protecting its kill from scavengers. "They are fighting each other," the Admiral said in confusion. "The creatures are fighting over our people." But that did not make sense either. Why would predators fight to protect their prey? The confusion deepened when they heard more sounds from the rescue team. Lieutenant Hoonjman Kong was leading his squad to help the others. "Move, move. Goo!" he shouted as they ran through the corridors. His voice was sharp and commanding. Behind him, his team responded with their own calls. "Copy that. On our way. We're coming." The aliens heard this coordinated response and felt their terror increase. The creatures were not just intelligent. They were perfectly organized. When one called, the others answered immediately. "They hunt as one mind," Commander Veltar said quietly. "Each creature knows exactly what the others are doing." The Admiral watched his sensors as the human ship continued to move, despite the damage. The creatures were keeping their ship alive through pure determination, Sir called his tactical officer. "Something strange is happening." "What?" "The creatures are not trying to escape. They're staying to protect the survey ship. They're putting themselves in danger to keep our people safe." The Admiral stared at the display. It was true. The human ship could probably run away if it wanted to, but it was staying, fighting to protect the aliens they had rescued. Why would predators protect their prey? The Admiral asked. Nobody had an answer. The creatures were not behaving like any predator they had ever encountered. They were behaving like protectors, the tactical officer said quietly. The Admiral felt confused. Everything they thought they knew about these creatures was wrong. But if they were not predators, what were they? Why did they sound so terrifying when they were trying to help? "Dr. Mingi, you had been working for hours on the translation problem." While the battle raged outside, she stayed locked in her laboratory, trying to understand why the aliens seemed so frightened of human voices. She played the audio recordings over and over. Human voices giving orders, calling for help, coordinating rescues. To her, they sounded normal. But something was wrong with how the aliens heard them. "Computer," she said. "Analyze the frequency patterns of human speech during emergency situations." Computer processed the data. Charts and graphs appeared on her screen. She studied them carefully. "Interesting," she said to herself. "Our voices change when we are under stress. They become deeper, more powerful." She compared the patterns to known alien communication methods. The Confederation species used soft harmonic sounds to communicate. Their voices stayed calm and gentle, even during emergencies. But human voices did the opposite, under stress. They became loud and forceful. What sounded like determination to humans might sound like aggression to aliens. "Computer, can you modify our transmission frequency to match alien hearing patterns?" "Affirmative, adjusting for alien auditory sensitivity." Dr. Yu tested the new settings. When she spoke into the microphone, her voice came out softer and more musical. It sounded strange to her, but it might work better for the aliens. She contacted the bridge. "Captain Nam, I think I know what the problem is." "What did you find, Doctor?" "The aliens are not hearing our voices correctly. To them, we sound like dangerous predators. But I can fix the translation system. Do it quickly. We cannot take much." "More damage?" "Doctor, you worked fast?" She programmed the new frequency patterns into the ship's communication system. Then she opened a channel to the alien fleet. "Admiral Kethva," she said, her voice now soft and harmonic. "This is Dr. Minjiu from the human ship. Can you hear me clearly?" There was a long pause. Then the Admiral's voice came back, less frightened than before. "Yes, I can hear you. Your voice is ... different, less threatening. That is because I adjusted our communication system. Admiral, I think there has been a terrible misunderstanding. We are not predators. We are rescuers. But the sounds your people make are the sounds of humans working together under pressure. We get louder when we are trying to save lives. It is how we evolved." Dr. You could hear the Admiral talking to his officers. They were discussing what she had said. "Dr. Yu," the Admiral said finally, "explain to me why your people sound so fierce." "Because we are afraid too," she replied. "When humans are scared, we do not get quiet like other species. We get louder. We call out to our teammates, make sure everyone knows what is happening, but it sounds like hunting calls. To you, yes, but to us, they are survival calls. We evolved on a dangerous world. Making noise kept our groups together. It kept us alive." The Admiral was quiet for a moment. "You are saying your people are not aggressive. They are afraid." "Yes. And when we are afraid, we work together. Louder we get, the more we are trying to help each other." Captain Nam's voice came through the communication system. "Admiral, may I speak to you directly?" "Yes, Captain Nam. The people you heard shouting are my rescue team. They are still inside your ship trying to save your crew. They are not attacking anyone. They are risking their lives to help. But they sound so dangerous. They sound determined. There is a difference." Admiral Kethva ordered his fleet to stop shooting while he processed this information. The human ship was badly damaged, but it was still connected to the alien survey ship. "Captain Nam," the Admiral said, "I want to speak to one of your rescue team members, the one with the very loud voice." That would be Lieutenant Park. He is leading the rescue operation. A new voice came through the speakers. Even with the translation system, it sounded strong and commanding. "This is Lieutenant Teeman Park," the voice said. "I am inside your ship with my team. We have rescued 8 of your crew members. 3 are seriously injured. Why are you shouting?" the Admiral asked. "I am not shouting, sir. I'm speaking clearly so my team can hear me. We are in a dangerous area. Clear communication saves lives. But you sound so ... aggressive." "I am focused, sir. My job is to bring everyone home safely. That includes your people and mine." The Admiral listened to the background sounds. He could hear other human voices calling out. But now, with the translation system working better, he could almost understand what they were saying. "Status report," Park called out. "2 more survivors found in Section D." Came the reply. "Medical supplies running low," called another voice. "Understood, we finish here and get back to the ship." The Admiral realized he was listening to a coordinated rescue operation. The humans were not hunting. They were saving lives. "Lieutenant Park," the Admiral said, "one of your people was injured protecting our crew member. Why? Because that is what we do, sir. We protect those who cannot protect themselves, even if they are strangers. Everyone is a stranger until they become a friend. Your people needed help. We helped." The Admiral felt confused. This was not how predators behaved. Predators did not risk their lives for strangers. "Dr. Yu," the Admiral called, "I need to understand something. Your people evolved to be loud and aggressive, but you use these traits to help others." "Yes, Admiral. Humans are social creatures. We survive by working together. The louder we get, the more we are trying to coordinate our efforts. But it sounds like you are preparing for war. Sometimes helping people requires the same skills as fighting. We have to be strong. We have to be determined. We have to work as a team." The Admiral's communications officer brought him a report. "Sir, our medical scanners show that the human ship is sharing its life support with our survey ship. They are keeping our people alive." "What?" "The humans connected their life support systems to ours. They are using their own air and power to keep our survivors alive." The Admiral stared at the report. The human ship was badly damaged. It needed all its power to survive. But it was sharing that power with the alien ship. Why would they do that? He asked quietly. Dr. Yu's voice came through the speakers. Because that is what people do for each other, Admiral. We share what we have. Even with strangers, especially. With strangers, they need help more than friends do. The Admiral felt something he had never felt before. Shame. His fleet had been attacking beings who were trying to save his people. The humans had risked their lives and their ship to help. Strangers. Captain Name, the Admiral said. I owe you an apology. We misunderstood your intentions. Apology accepted, Admiral. But we need to focus on saving lives right now. Your people need medical attention. What do you need from us? Stop shooting at us and help us get everyone to safety. The Admiral looked around his bridge. His officers were staring at him, waiting for orders. All ships. Stand down weapons, he ordered. Prepare medical teams. We're going to help the humans complete their rescue mission. As the alien fleet powered down their weapons, the sounds from the human ship changed. Aggressive calls became calmer, more organized. They are not as loud now, Commander Veltar observed. 'Cause they are not as afraid, the Admiral replied. They were afraid we were going to hurt their people. The Admiral realized something important. Humans had never been the predators. They had been the protectors. His fleet had been the threat they were protecting against. The terrible sounds they had been hearing were not monster roars. They were the sounds of beings who refused to abandon those who needed help. 3 days after the ceasefire, Admiral Kethfa stood in the meeting room aboard his flagship. Across from him sat Captain Su-Yang Nam and Dr. Ming Yu. Between them was linguist He Jinan, who had been working with the alien communications specialist Tervel to improve their translation systems. The new translation protocols are working much better, He-Jin said. We can now hear the emotional content of each other's speech without the fear responses. It is remarkable, Tervel added, his forearms gesturing gracefully. Human speech contains layers of meaning we never detected before. What we heard as aggression was actually coordination and concern. Admiral Kethfa studied the humans across the table. They looked so different from what he had imagined. Captain Nem was calm and professional. Dr. Yu was gentle and thoughtful. Linguist An was patient and careful with her words. I need to understand something, the Admiral said. Your people become louder and more forceful when they are trying to help. This seems backwards to us. Captain Nam smiled. It seems backwards to us that your people become quieter when there is danger. How do you coordinate in emergencies? Use harmonic communication. Each person adds their voice to create a group melody. The more urgent the situation, the more beautiful the harmony becomes. That is fascinating, Doctor, you said. But humans evolve differently. We came from a world with large predators and dangerous weather. Being quiet meant being alone. Being alone meant death. So you became loud to survive? We became loud to stay together. On our world, the group that worked together lived. A group that scattered died. Admiral Kethfa was beginning to understand. Your aggressive behavior is actually social behavior. Yes, Captain Nam said. When humans shout at each other, we are usually trying to help each other. The louder we get, the more important the message is. Tervel played an audio recording. Listen to this. This is your Lieutenant Park calling for medical help. The recording played. Even with the new translation system, Park's voice sounded urgent and powerful. Medical Team 2 Section C. We have injured personnel. Move fast. To us, Tervel explained. This sounded like a predator calling for the pack to come and feed. But now we understand he was calling for healers to come and help. The confusion is understandable, He-Jin said. Your species uses soft sounds for urgent communication. Our species uses strong sounds. We are exact opposites, Admiral Kethfa nodded. Tell me about your military. Are all human soldiers like Lieutenant Park? Park is actually quite typical, Captain Nam said. Human soldiers are trained to work as a team above all else. We have a saying, no one fights alone. What does that mean? It means that we never abandon our teammates. We will risk our lives. To save one person, we will fight impossible battles to protect our friends. The Admiral found this hard to believe. He would sacrifice many to save one. If necessary, yes. because we know that our teammates would do the same for us. This trust makes us stronger, Dr. Yu added. This is why our rescue teams sound so fierce. They are not just saving strangers. They are proving to each other that they can be trusted. Trusted? Rescue mission is a promise, it says. If you are in danger, we will come for you. This promise is what holds human society together. Admiral Kethfa was quiet for a long moment. You are saying that your aggressive behavior is actually about loyalty. Exactly, Captain Nam said. The more dangerous the situation, the more important it is to show that we will not abandon each other. This is why your people stayed too. Fight our fleet, the Admiral realized. You could have run away, but you stayed to protect our survivors. Running away was not an option. We had your people on our ship. They were our responsibility. Even though we were shooting at you, even though you were shooting at us. The Admiral felt a deep respect for these beings. They had risked everything. For strangers who were attacking them, Admiral Dr. Yu said, I ask you something? Why did your species evolve to be so peaceful? Our world was very different from yours. We had few predators. Our biggest threats were natural disasters and diseases. Cooperation and calm thinking kept us alive. So, when there is danger, you work together by becoming more harmonious? Yes, panic and noise lead to mistakes. Harmony leads to clear thinking. Ajin nodded. So both species evolved to work together. We just do it in opposite ways. That is correct, Turville said. Humans use strength and noise to coordinate. We use peace and harmony. Both methods work for survival. Captain Nam leaned forward. Admiral, I have a proposal. Would you like to see how human teamwork actually functions? We could demonstrate. Our military exercises, that would be educational. But I do not want your people to think we are studying them for war, not for war, for understanding. If our species are going to work together, we need to understand each other's methods, the Admiral agreed. 2 hours later, he stood in the observation deck of the human ship. Watching a training exercise, Lieutenant Park stood in the center of a training room with Marines Gina Kim and Minho Lee. They were practicing rescue scenarios. Wounded soldier in the building? Park called out. Kim, you go left. Lee, you go right. I will go through the center. Copy that, Kim replied loudly, moving. Lee shouted back. Admiral Kethfa watched as the three humans moved through the simulated building. They called out to each other constantly. Clear left, movement on the right, found the wounded, covering fire, moving to extract. Every call was loud and sharp. But now the Admiral could hear the organization behind it. Each person knew exactly where the others were. Each person knew exactly what the others were doing. It is like a violent dance, he said to Captain Nam. That is a good way to describe it. Each person has a role, but everyone knows all the roles. If someone gets hurt, someone else can take their place, and the shouting keeps everyone connected. In the noise of battle, quiet voices get lost. Loud voices save lives. The exercise ended with all three humans working together to carry the simulated wounded soldier to safety. They never stopped talking to each other. Medical team standing by, clear the landing zone. Wounded soldier coming in, got him. Admiral Kethfa realized he was seeing something remarkable. These humans had turned aggression into cooperation. They had turned noise into communication. They had turned individual strength into group strength. Your species has weaponized friendship, he said to Captain Nam. She smiled. That is the most accurate description of human military doctrine I have ever heard. And this is why you sound so terrifying to us. You are not just individuals working together. You are a group mind expressed through individual bodies. You prefer to think of it as a family that fights together. The Admiral understood now. Humans were not predators who hunted in packs. They were families who protected each other. Fierce sounds were not calls to hunt. They were calls to help. Captain Nam, the Admiral said, I think our species have much to learn from each other. I agree, Admiral. Your harmony and our strength could make a powerful combination. Would you be willing to teach us your coordination methods? It's only if you teach us your harmony methods. We could both benefit from understanding how the other thinks. Admiral Kethva looked out at the stars. Two very different species had almost destroyed each other because of a misunderstanding. But now, they had a chance to become something better together. "Let us begin," he said. 6 months later, Admiral Kethva stood on the bridge of the new joint flagship Unity. Half of his crew was alien, and half was human. The ship itself was a marvel of combined technology. Alien precision engineering merged with human adaptability. "Admiral," called Communications Officer Gina Kim, "we are receiving a distress signal from the Outer Rim." "What is the nature of the emergency?" Admiral Kethva asked. "Unknown hostile forces have attacked 3 colony ships. Colonies are requesting immediate assistance." The Admiral looked at his mixed crew. In the past 6 months, they had learned to work together in ways neither species thought possible. Today would be their first real test. "Captain Name," he said to his human second-in-command, "prepare the fleet for battle." Captain Su Yang Name, now promoted to Admiral, nodded. "All ships, this is Admiral Name. Prepare for combat operations. We have colonies under attack." The bridge filled with activity. Human crew members called out status reports while alien crew members sang their harmonic coordination songs. At first, the combination had seemed chaotic. Now it sounded like a perfectly orchestrated symphony. "Weapon systems ready," called Lieutenant Temin Park. "Engines at full power," sang Engineer Turville in his melodic voice. "Navigation coordinates locked," reported both human navigator Minho Lee and alien navigator Sylvan together. Colonel Dongwon Chung, the human military advisor, stood next to General Velthik, his alien counterpart. They had spent months developing new combat strategies that combined human aggression with alien precision. "What do we know about these hostiles?" Colonel Chung asked. "They call themselves the Ravagers," General Velthik replied. "They attack isolated colonies and take prisoners. They seem to target groups that cannot fight back effectively." "Slavers," Admiral Nam said grimly. "They pick on the weak because they think no one will fight back." "They have not encountered humans before," Admiral Kethva observed, "or our new combined forces." The fleet reached the attack site 3 hours later. The sensor readings showed a grim situation. 3 colony ships were damaged in a drift. Several alien vessels surrounded them, clearly preparing to board. "Scan the hostile ships," Admiral Kethva ordered. "I count 12 enemy vessels," reported sensor operator Unishin. "They are armed, but not heavily. They rely on speed and surprise." "Perfect," Colonel Chung said with a smile. "They are not expecting a real fight." "Open a channel to the lead hostile ship," Admiral Kethva ordered. The screen filled with the image of a reptilian alien. Its eyes were cold and cruel. When it spoke, its voice was full of contempt. "Who dares interfere with our operations?" the creature hissed. "This is Admiral Kethva of the Joint Defense Force. You are attacking innocent colonies. Withdraw immediately, or face the consequences." The hostile alien laughed. "A Joint Defense Force? I see only a few ships with mixed crews. You cannot stop us." "You're mistaken," Admiral Nam said, stepping into view. "You are facing something new. Something you have never seen before." "And what is that, small creature?" "Humans in confederation. Forces working together." The hostile aliens studied the mixed crew on the bridge. "Impossible. These species are too different to cooperate." "Would you like a demonstration?" Admiral Kethva asked. Before the hostile could respond, Admiral Nam activated the ship's intercom. "All crew, prepare for combat operations." This is not a drill. The response was immediate and terrifying. Human voices called out sharp, aggressive orders while alien voices sang complex harmonies. The two sounds blended together into something that sent chills down everyone's spine. The hostile alien on the screen actually stepped backward. "What? ... What was that sound?" That Admiral Kethva said calmly was the sound of beings who protect each other. "You should be afraid." The hostile cut the communication channel, but the damage was already done. The Ravagers had heard something they did not understand, and it frightened them. "Sir," called Tactical Officer Borashin, "the hostile ships are moving into attack formation." "Let them come," Colonel Chung said. "Show them what we have learned." The battle began with the Ravagers trying their usual tactics. They attacked in small groups, expecting to overwhelm individual ships. But the Joint Defense Force did not fight as individual ships. Instead, they fought as one massive organism. Human ships provided aggressive assault power while alien ships provided precise coordination. When one ship was damaged, 3 others immediately moved to protect it. Lieutenant Hyung-min Kong led a boarding action against one of the hostile ships. His team was half human and half alien. As they fought through the enemy vessel, their coordination was perfect. "Hostiles on the left," Kong called out. "Covering," sang alien warrior Keldon in harmony. "Moving to flank," shouted Marine Yonji. "Park, supporting maneuver," harmonized alien tactician Mervell. The Ravagers had never faced anything like this. The boarding teams moved like water, flowing around obstacles and supporting each other instantly. When humans attacked with fierce determination, aliens provided precise tactical support. When aliens planned careful strategies, humans provided the courage to execute them. Their coordination is impossible, one captured Ravager said. "They fight like one mind in many bodies." "That is exactly what they are," Admiral Kethva explained. "Humans taught us that fighting together makes us stronger. We taught humans that thinking together makes us smarter." The battle lasted only 2 hours. The Ravagers, used to fighting scattered and frightened opponents, could not handle an enemy that grew stronger under pressure. Admiral called Communications Officer Gina Kim. "The remaining hostile ships are requesting permission to surrender." "Granted. Have them prepare for boarding and inspection." As the fleet secured the prisoners and began rescue operations on the colony ships, Admiral Kethva reflected on what they had accomplished. "Admiral Nem," he said, "what do you think our people learned today? That we are stronger together than apart," she replied. "Your people's wisdom and our people's determination make a powerful combination." "And the galaxy has noticed," observed Dr. Mingyu, who had been monitoring communications. "We are receiving requests from 12 different species asking to join the Joint Defense Force." "News travels fast," Admiral Nam said. "Good news travels fastest of all," Admiral Kethva replied. 3 weeks later, the Joint Defense Force had grown to include 5 different species. Each brought their own strengths to the alliance. The Zentari contributed advanced technology. Moldans provided exceptional navigation skills. The Viridians offered superior medical knowledge, but at the heart of it all was the partnership between humans and the Confederation, the combination of human emotional intensity and alien rational harmony created something neither could achieve alone. Admiral Kethva stood in the new training facility, watching mixed teams practice together. Human voices called out encouragement and coordination while alien voices sang tactical harmonies. New species added their own communication styles to the mix. "What do you think?" Admiral Nam asked, joining him at the observation window. Admiral Kethva said that the galaxy is about to become a much safer place. On the training floor below, Lieutenant Borashin was leading a mixed team through a rescue scenario. Her voice rang out clear and strong, coordinating the effort. "Medical team to Section A. We have survivors." The response came in 3 different languages and 2 different species vocal styles, but the meaning was the same. "We are coming." Admiral Kethva smiled. What had once sounded like monster screams to his people now sounded like the most beautiful music in the galaxy. The sound of different beings working together to help others. He said to Admiral Name, "I think your battle cries are starting to grow on us. Your harmony is teaching us that there is strength in calm coordination," she replied. Together they watched the next generation of defenders train. Different species, different voices, different ways of thinking, but all united by the same goal, to protect those who could not protect themselves. In space, no one could hear you scream, but your teammates could. And in the end, that made all the difference.